that's what you need to learn and keep straight. You need to spend some time memorizing the steps. This has 4 terms in it, correct?
Yes.
The first rule for factoring, always look for a common factor. Is there anything that's in all, is there any letter in all 4 of these?
Just the first 3.
Is there a letter in all 4? No, then there's no common factor. Doesn't matter whether there's something in the first group, there's nothing here, you can't do letters. Is there any number that's in all 4 of these numbers? What is it? And how many times does 5 go into 49? I can't remember. And 1 doesn't count. 1 does, but it doesn't do anything. Let me see, how many times does 1 go into 35? 35, so what does it change? Nothing. So 1, we don't use 1, and nothing else works because these all have 45, and that's all that has is a 7. So, how do I do, after common factors, how do I do 4? Don't everybody talk at once. You cut it in half. You cut it in half. That half, that half. Now you take the first half and say, what's common only up to the first line? What's common in the first 2? There's an X. What number is common? 5. Parentheses. Take 5x out of 35xy. Yeah, I know. It's just review. But how many can do it right? How many can finish the problem? If you can't, great. But I had 3 hands. And probably at least one of you 3 would have got it wrong. So we'll review it. That's all. So take 5 out of 35. What do we get? We're dividing 7. And I have a y here. I have the x's go here. The y goes here. When I take 5x out of here, the x is gone and the 5 is gone. It'll be 7y minus. Take 5x out of here. What's left? 5. Parenthesis. Now we did the first half. Now go to the second half. This? There's an F. They both have an X in them. This is what's common. These are the things that are in both that I'm taking out. If I take this times this and distribute it, I get that again, which is what I want. Okay, now go to the right-hand side of the line. First thing to do is take the first sign and bring it down. Take the first sign and bring it down. When it's a negative only, not a positive, when it's a negative you bring down, what do you have to do next? Go back to the top and change all those signs. If you bring the negative down, immediately, don't do any of that, go right back to the top and change these 2 signs. Make that one a positive, make that one a negative. And now, what's common? 7. Got a 7 in both numbers, right? So I put the 7 down, parenthesis, take 7 out of 49, and I get 7y. Bring this sign down and take this 7 out of 35. Now at this point, you can almost always tell whether the problem's right or not. What do you look at? Are the parentheses the same? If they are, it's probably right. It's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's almost impossible to have these 2 be the same and still get the wrong answer. And I suppose somebody can do it, but if they're the same, you almost have the right answer. And the right answer is, take what's in parentheses and write it down. Put a second parenthesis with nothing between them, and put down everything that's not in the parentheses, which is 5x over here, minus 7 over here, parenthesis, and that is our answer. Because we're factoring. Somebody mentioned FOIL. If I took and FOILed this, what would happen? I would get this. So you can check it by using FOIL. What's 7y times 5x? 35xy. What's 7y times a negative 7? What's the outside? 49y, which is over here, and that's a negative originally. Inside, negative 25x. There it is. And then 5 times 7 is a negative 5, negative 7 is a positive 35. FOIL brings me back to the original problem. This is my answer. That's how we do it. By the way, that's number 1 on your paper. And we got plenty of problems, so I don't mind you putting this down on your paper for a guide. Except you can't do it right now. If you work on a different piece of paper, that's fine. But don't take time. We want to do some more problems. Copy it later. This is problem number 1. I'm going to do a few of the problems in the book on the paper, and you won't have to do them. Question on this problem? It's simple, but you have to learn the steps. The answer is this. This is your answer. You pull this down, and whatever's not in parentheses goes in the second one, and that's your answer, both of them together. Because this times this is that. Look, if I have 10, what are the factors of 10? 2 times 5. Why? Because when I multiply, I get 10. Number 7. Now, many of these, I'm going to say half, give or take. Something close to half have common factors in them. If you don't take the common factor out, you're going to either, 1, not do the problem right, 2, make the problem way harder than what it belongs. This is a binomial. When we do binomials, we're looking for the difference of 2 perfect squares. Is this the difference of 2 perfect squares? Is 75 a perfect square? Is 3 a perfect square? Then you don't have the difference of 2 squares, so you can't do the problem. Wait, what's wrong with that? We didn't take out the common factor. You must take out the common factor. What's my common factor? 3. I got a 3 in both. Take it out, put a parenthesis, and take 3 out of this. What's left? X squared minus, take 3 out of 75. 25. 3/4. That's 3/4. Now, is this the difference of 2 perfect squares? Yes, they're both perfect squares with a minus in between. The difference of 2 perfect squares. Anytime you have the difference of 2 perfect squares, you put 2 parentheses, keep the 3. And how do you get x squared? X and x. How do you get 25? 5 and 5. And how do you get a minus? Plus and minus. Same thing. And I don't care, in here, we couldn't care less which one goes first and second. So, there's your answer. If I multiply these 3 together, I will get that. This is the difference of 2 perfect squares. There they are. Whenever you have the difference of 2 perfect squares, this is what you do every time. And we have our answer.
Can you do number 20?
Now, I'm going to do a couple right now that are not on your paper. All right? They are something like this. This is a trinomial that has a 1, that starts with a 1, correct? This is 1x squared, right? When you have a trinomial that starts with a 1, you put 2 parentheses. And how do you get x squared? X times x. What sign goes here? What sign goes here? Why? What sign always goes here? This one. The second one. This is the second sign. Where's the first sign? Here. X, does x squared have a sign? What is it? Then this has to be the second sign. And this is the third sign because the first one is here. So the second sign is always the one that goes here. What sign goes here? If this is a plus, then the signs have, these two signs have to be the same. If this sign is a minus, they have to be different. Is this a plus? Then what does this sign have to be? The same as this one. Okay? It doesn't have to be a plus. It has to be the same as this one. So it's a plus in this case. Now, what times what gives you 12? And when you add them, you get 8. You need to know that statement. What times what gives me this number, in this case 12. And when I do that, in this case is a plus, so I add them, I have to get this number. 4 and 3 add up to 8, right? They have to give you 12, but they also have to add up to 8, or they don't work. 4 and 3 works fine for 12, but it doesn't add up to 8, you can't use it. You have to use 6 and 2. The big one always goes here. Okay? Another one. One in front. X. What sign goes here? Minus. What sign goes here? This is a negative, so that has to be what? Different. So this one has to be a plus because this is already a minus. So this is a plus. What two numbers multiply together? Give me 15. And when I subtract them, I get 2. 5 and 3. That's how we factor trinomials. Okay? When we factor trinomials. One more. Okay, what's this? What do I do here? Is there a common factor? What is it? X and 2, right? So what's left? Take this out of here. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Taking the 2 out, taking the x out. Then you go ahead and factor this. X and x, sign is plus, sign is, what times what gives me 6, and when I add I get 5. 3 and 2. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 plus 2 is 5.